Hi everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope you've had a lovely weekend and that your new week has started well. I have to say, regardless of the weather, depending what weather you've got, you know what, we can always make the most of it, can't we? I think if we get those grey, dark, dingy days, especially here in the UK in winter, we can just stay in and craft. So today I'm coming in with a lovely little project, and it's on one of our large watercolour tags, look, and we're going to be using the re-inkers. Now, a lot of you've been in touch and said that it's fabulous that we have the Elements re-inkers, but what else can you do with them apart from re-inking your ink pads? And I'm thinking we can paint with them. Now, when I'm using them to paint, I like a raised area. Now, I call it a gutter when we get a raised area. I say I call it because you know what I'm like for making names up. So whether that's a technical term or just me, I don't know. But it's just that raised area. And I find that helps. So for me, what I like to do is I like to stamp in the black, the Versafine Clair. It's a slow drying ink, so it's perfect for embossing. And then I'll come in with the lovely Wow, and it's the clear. Because that means if I wanted to do this again, but actually have this stamping in, say, the purple or one of our lovely blues, the Monarch, or, you know, one of the other colours, then I could use a different colour of the Versafine Clair, but still come in with my clear ink, and that colour will show through. That clear embossing powder lets the ink colour show through. So you could make this quite a few times. You could do it on cards. I'm just going for a tag. And just by changing the colour of your background ink, you'll get a different result. So what we're going to do is we'll start off with the stamping. And what I tend to do is take the lid off my embossing powder, so I've got it ready. And the stamp I'm going to use is the Forest Leaf. So it's on my block ready, and we'll come in and ink it up. And I can see in the light, I seem to have some glitter on my stamp. I think this one needs a bit of a wash. If ever you find that you get glitter or something, you can wash them, you know, just a little bit of warm soapy water. Put in that stuff that makes bubbles when you're doing your washing up. Just a little bit, mild detergent, and give them a good swish. And then clear, nice clean water, and I just let them air dry, facing up. But I think this is getting about ready for as I say, if I look in the light, I can see a bit of glitter. So I'm going to stamp this, and I want it up there. And again, I'm going to give it a good press. It's a large stamp, so it needs a bit of oomph. Well, when you're little like me, it does. And then straight away come in with the embossing powder and just cover the whole of the image, even if it uses all your embossing powder, because you're going to pop it back in there. And I tend to give it a bit of a swish round and then tap off the excess onto your copy of paper. Give it a bit of a tap and then pop that to one side. I would say easily lift up your copy of paper and then just pop that back in the jar. I always think this is like magic because there seems to be more going back. Again, give it a good flick. More seems to go back in that jar than comes out. Now, I'm going to heat this. Now, we've got some new lovely friends and followers here at the Lavinia family. So if you're new and you've not done embossing, what happens now is the powder on there, so it looks quite dull, look. Now, we're going to heat it and melt it. And when it melts, it will become a darker, almost a black and shiny. And what we need to do for that is this embossing heat tool. And what I'm going to do is it's got two settings. I'm going to put it on the high setting, but I'm going to let the tool heat up for just a couple of seconds and then I'll start embossing. But it is noisy, so I'm explaining first. And what I tend to do is heat a small area and move, and you'll see it change. Hopefully I can get the angle right to show you. Try not to waft. If you waft too much with the tool across, you can blow the powder off. At the minute it's sticking to that lovely ink, but you'll see as we go. So first of all, put it on number 2, and this is the heating one, the embossing one. It's got this lovely nozzle, and that will guide the heat to the right place. So number 2, and I'm just going to give it a couple of seconds just to heat up. Right, that's nice and warm now. And I'll start, and I'll try and show you. Can you see it's turning black? And if I just move it as it starts, if I take that away, can you see the areas? There's a difference there between the black. So if we carry on here, look. And so these grey areas, and we move down to the bottom, and then eventually the whole thing, knock that off, the whole thing, can you see, is lovely. Black, it's raised and it's shiny. You can really see that shine there. And you can feel it, it's raised. At this point, stop. If you overheat it, this isn't one of those things where overheating is good. If I carried on heating this, you can burn that embossing powder. And what happens is it almost sucks back into the card and you'll lose that raised effect, which is what we're after. And this in itself, I just think is lovely. That clear, honestly, for me, the clear is perfect because, as I say, I can use lots of different colours of my ink underneath. Now, to add colour, I've got myself one of these lovely daisy palettes, and I'm just going to get my reinkers, and I'm just going to put a little, and just a little drop. You don't need very much. So I'm going for the blue Atoll, pink elephant, and I've got them, I know exactly which colours they are because blue and pink makes purple. So that's my violet chalk just going in here with a bit of purple. And what I've also done is just spritz myself some water in the middle. And all you're going to do, get yourself a brush, and this is so lovely to do. Pick up a little bit of the water, and I'm just going to start with the blue look. Now, you can take your time, and you can colour these however you wish. So the top one I'll have, and I just want a hint of blue in all of them, but varying degrees. It might be you want to actually make one leaf completely blue. It might be, because the choice is yours. Going to pick up a little bit of water. I am cleaning my brush in my water pot just to try and keep this middle bit as clean as possible. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of pink, but let that go into the blue to make purple. Now, there are various different ways, and as I say, you will take your time. I'm going to clean my brush, then I'm going to come in with my purple, a little bit more water. And maybe this bottom one, I'll add some purple with that blue. And then this one here, I'm going to have all 3 colours. And again, it's almost a dabbing motion. And what I can do is just pick up a little bit of water and actually blend these colours here. Again, remember, because this is your inker from your Elements ink, it's dye-based, so it's water reactive. So that's how come we can do this lovely blending. And as I say, I find with just having that gutter, it just makes watercolour painting over the top a lot easier. And as I say, you can take your time and blend these colours as much as you wish. Now, I've got to be honest, when I'd finished this one, I did think glossy accents over the top of that. I think it would almost look like it was enamel. So I am going to have a play at that. But I think that is lovely. Now, to just make the splatters, all I did was got my fan brush, got some of this water here, and then made myself a nice little bit of watery ink, and then just added a little bit of card there, we'll get rid of that, added the splatters. Now, that's how I created this one. And you would leave it at that point. But what you can also do, I'll move this out of the way. Now think of all the stamps that you could colour, the cottages. I mean, we have got such a good selection. You can stamp, emboss and then colour. So in these little bottles, not only have you got all that re-inking you can do, but you could take these, say to the caravan, say you were visiting a friend, and you've got them to do your painting with. Now, if you don't like drips, maybe look away now, because I've got to be honest, for me, I actually like to then spritz it and just let that colour move out a little. And just let it drip down a little. And just use the water. Now, as I say, if you don't like to do that, you stop. I just like the way the colour just flows out a little. So I'm going to have this one just with that sort of more, I just love the way it's look here, just comes out and round. Now, what I have done on my original is added one of the lovely sentiment stickers. And I've coloured it. And what I've done, look, is got my Wink of Stella, the violet, and I've just coloured it. Now, it does take a while to dry, so my suggestion is colour it before you're going to use it. And I just moved the sentiment to an area on the sticker sheet where I'd got a space. But all the different colours we've got in the Wink of Stella. But I thought this purple. Now, what I need to do is I just need to heat. I'm just going to heat this bit here because, and this is the heat tool. So you have your different tools, your embossing tool and your heating tool. This has got a larger nozzle, look. And then where it's dry down here, that's where I'm going to add, because obviously this wouldn't stick where it was wet. And finally, I'm going to add some white splatters. And again, if you don't like your splatters, you leave this bit off. But what I love is they will react. Where this is wet here, my Posca pen will react. Now again, you could wait till it's dry, but I just want that reaction again. Permanent when dry, but when you first put it on, it will react. Black fine liner, and I'm just going to put myself a nice edge, and I'm going to keep it quite loose because we've got those areas there. And then maybe a little butterfly from my butterfly stickers. Now, I think it's got to be the blue with the black around. So we'll go for one of those. And again, where it's dry, I'll pop it there. And just with my white fine liner, look, I'll add some white highlights. But there we go. How quick and easy was that? But honestly, it's so therapeutic. Now, this one has still got to dry, so I'm going to leave it. Now, just to show you what I did do, was got a spare tag. And with what was left in here, look. In fact, I'll make another one to quickly show you, because it's no good me just saying, because I know you'll say, Jo, what you're talking about. So, all I did was tag, brush, and you don't want to waste this here. I mean, you would just carry on painting, but I just literally got myself. Now you can smoosh this as well, pop it on your mat and smoosh it, but all I did, look, was at the top of the tag. And again, do you know what, if you're having a bad day or you're a bit fed up, this is great fun. And you know me, I like clean, I like precise, but this, whoa, this is just great. Because all you're going to do is, and I'm hoping you can see this, add the water at the top and let it drip. And you can literally add more ink, more colours. You can then spritz it. Now you can also have another piece of card underneath. I mean, look at that. I might actually leave that because I like this white area here. Might just dab that in there. Right, let me get me... But yes, you could have another piece of card underneath, couldn't you, to catch it? And what I did with this one, to create these areas, as it was drying like this, look, you can pick up more colour and just splat it on. Get your tool, dry it. The other thing is the salt. If you've got rock salt, you can add some salt, but also you can come in with water and add water splats. Mine's not very clean water, is it? Don't forget your mica minerals in the water, but look, can you see where that water's starting the faux bleaching? Right, I'm going to mop that up, but I'm going to leave that. Maybe just a little bit more faux bleaching up here if I can. I'm thinking those colours, I could, when this is dried, you know what? The Snowflake Stamps, white embossing powder. And I think that's a great tag for Christmas. But it's just that lovely background. When I was at Lavinia recently, I got myself a couple of extra packs of tags because just for experimenting, but also if you've been doing your painting with your elements and you've got this sort of product left in your palette, you don't want to waste it. So it's so nice that you can make yourself. I mean, look at that already. Look at this here. I love that. So that's going over here to dry. And it just shows you how very quickly you can create yourselves a different look. And I've put the craft threads there, the lovely craft yarns. What fun you can have and the different things you can create using your lovely re-inkers. So I hope you have a go. And you know what, especially sort of if you've got some days when you don't know what you're doing, this is just great fun. But a word of warning, have plenty of card or plenty of tags, because if you're anything like me, you'll make one background and then as it dries, you'll think, I know what I'm going to do with that. And then you'll make another and you'll think of another stamp you can use and make another. And that's how it gets you. But that's what we love, isn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed that. And I hope you're feeling okay. And you know what? I'll pop back again tomorrow. Maybe some inky fun tomorrow. Maybe we'll do some blending. A few of you have asked about blending. So, have a lovely evening and I'll see you again soon. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.